your fashion and sense of style based on your rising sign, and all rising signs will be included in this video. If you are interested in a chart reading or my astrology recommendations, check out my website, which is linked to my bio. If you are an Aries rising or have Mars in your first house, you tend to be a bit bold with your style. You're not afraid to take risks, but you also really enjoy your comfortable clothes that you can work out in, clothes that you can move around in because you're an active person. But when you do dress up and get fancy, you're not afraid to take a risk when it comes to your style. If you are a Taurus rising or have Venus in your first house, you are a fashionable person. You tend to understand what looks aesthetically pleasing. You like higher quality items. Instead of buying a ton of clothes, you'll just buy a few that are high quality. And you have a mix of stay-at-home clothes, comfortable clothes, and also nicer clothes that you go out in. If you are a Gemini rising or have Mercury in your first house, you tend to be somebody who likes to experiment and try different types of styles. You are on top of new fashions. You're up to date. You'll try different styles. You don't just stick to one thing. You're not afraid to be flexible and try different things out. If you are a Cancer rising or have the moon in your first house, you like clothes that have a history to them, maybe things that you find at a thrift store. You like styles from the past. You also really like comfortable clothes, things that you can stay at home and relax in. Your style changes with your emotions. So if you are feeling, sad one day, you probably will reflect that in your style. If you are feeling adventurous, that will be reflected in your style as well. If you are a Leo rising or have the sun in your first house, you tend to express your creativity through your style. You can be very fashionable. You're not afraid to be a bit bold and do looks that other people will be drawn to. And your looks can attract attention. You're very radiant when it comes to your style. If you are a Virgo rising, you tend to be pretty polished and put together with your style. You like to look like clean. You also like things that are high quality. Earth sign risings like things that are high quality. You tend to buy things instead of quality. You tend to be a busy person, so things that you can be active in. I would describe Virgo rising style as very elegant. If you are a Libra rising or have Venus in your first house, you are super fashionable. You are somebody who can make other people look fashionable too. When it comes to your personal style, you just know what looks good on you. You tend to have a balance of different types of looks. So you have things for all different types of occasions. I think of artistic and feminine elements when it comes to Libra rising style as well. If you are a Scorpio rising or have Pluto in your first house, you tend to transform your style a lot. So you're not always staying the same. You go through style evolutions. You may tend to gravitate towards maybe more mysterious or darker looks. People might be intrigued by your style and want to learn more. You might wear a necklace that people are like, that's very interesting. For some reason they're very curious about it. Scorpio risings or Pluto in the first, I also think of piercings and tattoos and stuff like that. Sagittarius rising or Jupiter in your first house, you could be interested in looks that have elements from different cultures or different countries. You also might be a bit overabundant, over extravagant in your fashion sometimes. Maybe this means you have a lot of different clothes that you own. You have a lot of fun with your style. You're adventurous with your style. If you are a Capricorn rising or have Saturn in your first house, you tend to like things from the past. You like traditional styles. You are put together. You like to look polished. You like things that are high quality. You are willing to spend more money to get something that's high quality when it comes to your fashion. You have clothes for every occasion, especially outerwear. You're always prepared for the winter storm or a rainstorm or something like that with Saturn in the first or Capricorn rising. Aquarius rising or Uranus in the first house. You are somebody who's unique and you try different things with your style. You're very much a trendsetter because you're not afraid to be different. You like to surprise people with your style, so you might kind of randomly change up your look, randomly dye your hair a crazy color or something like that. But you are somebody who I think of as creative, and you might be drawn to clothing that you have never seen somebody else wear. And Pisces rising or Neptune in the first house, you are very imaginative and spiritual when it comes to your fashion. And I mean that you have this intuitive sense, you kind of go with what you feel emotionally. You can have very dreamy looks because of this, very inventive looks. You tend to dress based on how you're feeling. So if you're feeling Like, you want to be comfortable that day. You have a lot of things that are just comfortable and free-flowing, but you also have more dressy looks. Pisces is a mutable sign, so you can kind of fit into various different styles. And also with your style, you can kind of change up your look and almost look like a different person. That's just the thing about Pisces rising or Neptune in the first, is you have this ability to kind of switch around, and people might not even recognize you if you change up your look enough. And of course, if you want to learn more about your chart, check out the link in my bio for chart readings, my astrology recommendations, and my astrology Patreon page. And let me know if you like these longer videos where I include every single rising sign.